Om Bhurabhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar, my dear friends. This is ninth video on the life and teachings of Swami Brahmananda, a direct disciple of Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. I start the video with a question by disciple Maharaj. Swami Brahmananda was also called by the name Maharaj. So the disciple asking a question, Maharaj, how may one control the mind? Maharaj replies, through gradual practice, the mind has to be concentrated upon God. Keep a sharp eye on the mind and see that no undesirable thoughts or distractions enter in. Whenever they try to crowd in, turn the mind towards God and pray earnestly. Through such practice, the mind is brought under control and becomes purified. When you can feel and know that you are helpless and alone, that you have no other refuge but God, when you feel that you have nothing in life to look forward to, then only will devotion to God arise in you. Practice japam unceasingly, practice it with every breath, practice it until it becomes your second nature. Then you will find yourself chanting the name of God as you fall asleep and again as you awaken. Know for certain that God can be reached, that has spiritual form can be seen, and that it is possible to talk to Him. Practice these spiritual disciplines, and as you practice, new visions will open up, wonderful, beautiful visions. You may see many aspects of God and many spiritual forms, or you may see an ocean of light or a steady flame. There is no end to this God unfoldment. This knowledge of infinite existence, infinite bliss, light, more light. Therefore, engage yourself in these practice with great earnestness, chant His name and dive deep. Learn to acquire love and sympathy towards all. Overlook the faults of others. If you cannot help an evil man to become good, of what use is your spiritual life? Learn patience. Anger is controlled through patience. Be patient, forbearing, and humble. Humility is a great aid in the building of character. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, he who can forbear lives. He who cannot is lost. Again he would say, water accumulates on low ground. When the ground is high, it runs off. In a humble man, sweetness of character and other good qualities develop naturally. Try to remember God constantly, even while you are working. In the beginning, it is little difficult, but through practice, it becomes easy. Never give up struggling. Too many rules and regulations for spiritual life are no good. The main thing is sincerity and earnestness. If these qualities are in your prayer, it will surely reach the Lord. Good God looks into the heart and not into the words of a man. People talk of enjoying this world, but what do they know of enjoyment? First become a god, then enjoy. Before that, all so-called enjoyments are the enjoyments of a brute. If your mind has become pure and you live with pure thoughts, no evil can touch you. Disciple asks a question, Maharaj, there is the song, I want to taste sugar but not to become sugar. Should that be the attitude of a devotee? Maharaj, I want to taste sugar but not become sugar is for the man who has not yet tasted sugar. When a devotee begins to taste the sweetness of God, he will desire to achieve oneness with Him. Disciple, are dreams about enlightened man or divine incarnation real? Maharaj, yes, they are real. Dreams about enlightened souls, gods and goddesses, and divine incarnations are real experiences. They are actual visitations. Many spiritual truths are revealed to one in dreams. The effect and impression of such dreams remain, but one must not speak of them to anybody. Maharaj, if you wish to do good to the world, you must be perfectly selfless. Worldly people are such that often if you do them good, they in turn will try to harm you. You have heard of the great soul Vidyasagar. He lived for the good of the world, and those who were benefited by him were the very ones who spoke ill of him and tried to harm him. If he learned that someone had spoken ill of him, he would say, have I done him any good that he does me this harm? That is the nature of the world, but the truth of the matter is, those who are good will do good by their very nature, and those who are wicked will do harm by their very nature. Once a holy man seated on the bank of a river was meditating. Suddenly he saw a scorpion floating on the water. He took pity on it and with the palm of his hand scooped it out of the water, but as he did so the scorpion stung him. The holy man suffered great pain. A few moments later the scorpion again fell into the water. The holy man again helped it out. Again the scorpion stung him. This happened a third time. Presently a man who had been watching the whole thing asked, why do you help the scorpion when it stings you again and again? The holy man replied, it is the nature of the scorpion to sting, and it is my nature to help. The scorpion does not give up its nature. Why should I give up mine? The mind moves upwards or downwards. Jealousy, selfishness, desire for enjoyment, laziness, etc. determine its downward motion. Faith, devotion to God, love, sympathy, etc. determine its upward motion. Maharaj, the chanting of the name of the Lord purifies both the body and the mind. Have intense faith in the power of God's name and meditate on Him. If you chant His name, all your bonds will be broken and you will become fearless. You will find minor you will find immortality. The one object of spiritual discipline is to know God, to obtain His grace. The mud of lust and gold that stains the mind must be washed away unless the heart is purified. God's grace is not revealed. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, so long as the needle is covered with mud, it is not attracted by the magnet. But when the mud has been washed away, the needle is naturally drawn towards the magnet. The mud of the mind is washed away if one thinks of the Lord and meditate on Him, and prays to him with a yearning heart. At once the magnet of God attracts the needle of man's mind to him, and the moment the mind becomes pure, divine grace begins to flow. Through this divine grace, God is revealed. Sri Ramakrishna used to use the illustration of the policeman's bull's eye lantern with its, and the policeman can see everyone, yet himself remains hidden. If anyone wants to see the policeman, he must ask him to turn the light upon himself. So it is with God's grace. God is the light of knowledge, and in order to obtain his grace and see him, you must pray earnestly to him to turn that light upon himself. Then only can you see him. As long as a man desires the things of the world, it is not possible for him to have any earnest desire to know God. As long as a child is absorbed in his toys, he forgets his mother. But as soon as he tires of them, he cries for her and is not happy till he sees her. Similarly, when a man tires of the playthings of the world, his heart yearns for God, and he struggles with all his mind and will to find him. The desire to live a pure and holy life does not come easily, but know this for a certainty: the grace of God is upon all those in whom this desire is awakened. In the world, man receives repeated blows, he suffers much, and yet the desire to walk the path of God does not enter into his heart. He knows fully well that every time he puts his hand in the fire it will burn, yet still he does it. Not only so, he uses every inducement to encourage others to do the same, and regards that man crazy who desists. Whenever a young boy decides to live a pure life dedicated to God, it is almost certain that his parents and friends will do everything in their power to obstruct his path. If he should stay, no one cares, but if he tries to find God, everything is done to discourage him. Such is Maya. Can man know God by himself? Can the intellect grasp him? Surrender yourself to him, love him, yearn for him, seek refuge in him, be mad for him. The one purpose of life is to know God, learn to be absorbed in him. Activity is not the goal. Work without attachment is only a means to absorption in God. Meditate and dive deep. As you dive deep, you will know that God alone is real and that everything else is unreal. When through spiritual practices a little awakening comes, do not mistake that for the goal. Do not stop. Move onward, light, more light, go deeper and deeper. You must see him face to face and talk to him. Enough of study and argument. Now gather the forces of your mind and direct them towards God, and God only. Plunge into the ocean of bliss. Do not sacrifice eternal joy for the sake of ephemeral pleasure. Worldly pleasures will seem insipid when once you taste the divine bliss. You see many attractive sense objects before your eyes now, but where will they be when your eyes close in death? These objects of enjoyment lead a man from darkness to greater darkness. Which path will you take? The path that leads to darkness or the path that leads to light? Ah, my children, you have glimpsed that path of light. Do not turn back to the path of darkness. Sense attraction is strong indeed, and if you yield to it, it will create indelible impressions of evil in your mind, and before you are aware of it, the mind will drag you down and down. The only way to remain safe from sense objects is to give yourself up wholeheartedly to God. Be strong in the strength, and this very strength will free you from the net of Maya. He alone has known God's grace who has overcome this world. Maharaj. The same instructions for spiritual disciplines do not apply to all. The Guru studies the temperament and tendencies of the individual and instructs him accordingly. Beyond a few general rules, no individual can be told in the presence of another what particular path he should follow. I have seen in the case of Sri Ramakrishna how he would take each disciple aside and privately instruct him according to his needs and temperament. If you should want to ask your Guru any question regarding your spiritual practices, you should do so in private. However, I will give you a few instructions which can be followed by all. First, have faith in God. Know that He is. Be firmly convinced that to realize Him is the only purpose of life. By knowing Him, man reaches eternal life and infinite happiness, and all the problems of his life are solved. Next, practice continence. Without perfect chastity, no one can hold fast to high spiritual ideals. To nourish the body, mind and brain, and to secure their fullest development, continence is essential. In a chaste man, a special spiritual nerve is developed with its and his memory, his capacity for spiritual understanding, and his faith in God increase. He is able to experience spiritual truths which he beyond the reach of the senses. That is the reason why religious teachers stress the ideal of chastity. Thirdly, control the appetite. Take only that food which is nourishing and easily digested. Avoid food that excites or produces lethargy. Eat very little after sunset. The brain must be kept cool in order to meditate. Eat only to keep the body healthy. Health is essential in the practice of spiritual disciplines. Do not make a show of your spiritual practices. When you meditate, meditate in secret. The most suitable hours for prayer and contemplation are those at the junction of day and night and at midnight. Daytime has many distractions. At night, nature takes on a quiet aspect, so that night time is best for the practice of contemplation. At dead of night, the mind becomes absorbed in God with very little effort. Sri Ramakrishna never spent the night in sleep, nor would he allow his disciples to sleep long. When others had gone to bed and all was quiet, he would awaken them, give them definite instructions, and send them to the Panchavati or the temple to meditate. There they would spend the whole night in prayer as directed, and during the day they would rest. In this way, Sri Ramakrishna took them through their various spiritual exercises. He would often say, there are three classes of people who keep awake at night: yogis, bhogis, seekers of enjoyment, and rogis, people who are sick. You are all yogis, you should never sleep at night. You are young, strive hard to taste the divine bliss. When once you have enjoyed happiness in God, where else will you go? Maharaj. The moment you become absorbed in the contemplation of God, You will experience unbounded joy. Days and nights will pass away in the blissful consciousness of God. Do not speak of your spiritual moods and experiences to anyone, least of all to those of a worldly nature. It may hinder your growth. However, if you exchange your experiences with one of a like mind whose temperament is in harmony with your own, you may be helped in your progress. Both of you are travelers along the same path. It may be that your companion has already walked your path and is already aware of its pitfalls. Benefited by his experiences, you may be able to avoid those dangers and difficulties. Do you know why you should seek the society of holy men? Their experiences are a great help to a spiritual aspirant. When you visit a strange place, if you have the help of a reliable guide, you will quickly see all that is worth seeing there. Also, he will save you from the dangers and difficulties into which a stranger is likely to fall. Similarly, from the company of advanced souls, you will gather many valuable hints and your efforts will be simplified. Thus, life may end at any moment. No one knows when. Equip yourself for the journey with spiritual treasures. To arrive empty-handed at an unknown place involves much suffering and sorrow. Birth is inevitable, followed by death. At death, you go to an unknown place, so you must prepare yourself for the journey. Always be ready for the great call. Here you have every opportunity to grow spiritually. Struggle now to reach reality. Hold on to the pillar. Have tremendous faith in yourself. Say to yourself, I can know God. With this faith, forge ahead and you will reach Him. Then your life will be blessed. Yourself from the wheel of birth and death. Be eternal companion. Banish all fear and weakness. Never weaken your mind by thinking of past mistakes. Sin exists only in man's eye. In God's eye there is no sin. One glance of his and the sins of many births are wiped away. You have come to Sri Ramakrishna. Hold on to him. You will have nothing to fear. Make a regular routine for your spiritual practices. You must have certain fixed hours for meditation and study under all circumstances. Follow this routine devotedly. Steadfastness is very important. Without it, no success is possible. By steadfastness alone, the mind becomes absorbed in God. Unless absorption is achieved, freedom from the temptation of the world is not possible. Lust, anger, delusion, these are strong foes. Be strong in the strength of God and escape from this net of Maya. Follow your routine. The mind may rebel at first, but do not yield. Then gradually you will find yourselves masters of your own minds. When you have gained control over yourself and your minds have become naturally absorbed in God, then you need follow no rule or routine. Life, like a stream, is ebbing fast away. The day that is once gone can never be recalled. Make the best use of your time. If you leave it till the last moment, it will be too late then to cry, alas, alas. Maharaj, keep up a constant communion with God. then all the depravities of the mind will vanish. Set apart a room or some place for daily worship. Retire there every morning and evening. Perform japam and meditation and prayer regularly for as long as you can. The more you devote yourself to the contemplation of God, the more fruitful your life will become. The more attached you are to the vanities of the world, the more restless you will your mind become. I pray to the Almighty that by His endless grace He may lead you in the right path. Know this: without worshipping God, you can never have peace of mind. Therefore, spend some time every day in the worship of God, in japam and meditation, and in singing God's glory. True devotion, faith, and knowledge are the results of long persistence in spiritual practices. Many people turn to agnosticism when, after a lukewarm attempt at spiritual practices, they cannot realize God or attain divine bliss. The reason is not far to seek. These people do not feel sincere attachment to God, therefore they find it difficult to persevere in their spiritual practices. The disciplines prove too arduous and undertaking for them. Without divine attachment and divine love, the mind becomes dry and restless. The more you suffer for God's sake, the more peaceful will you become at last. Persist cheerfully in your efforts and Sri Ramakrishna, then you will succeed against all odds. So plunge headlong into spiritual disciplines and persevere in them. Do not shirk them even at the risk of your life. It is hard indeed to kindle any thought of God within the human heart without the fire of renunciation. I am certain that the more a man possesses this fire within himself, the greater is the peace he enjoys. We saw a true and living representation of discrimination and renunciation in Sri Ramakrishna. As time passed, we learned to know him more and more. We read of discrimination and renunciation in the scriptures, but we saw them personified in him. You must not divulge the secret of your spiritual practices to everyone. There is nothing real outside, everything real is within. God should be imagined as vast and infinite. To gain an idea of the vastness within, one should look at the Himalayas or the ocean or the sky. True character cannot be formed unless a man becomes God-fearing, that is, unless he believes in God, in the life hereafter, and in other such principles. It is as impossible to conquer lust or control the mind by the mere study of books as it is to walk on air. So long as the Kundalini moves in a downward direction, the mind of man is filled with lustful thoughts, but as it rises, the mind also rises and then moves towards things spiritual. With the growth of tranquility, a man becomes eager to behold the vision of God. He then delights in singing His glory and meditating upon Him more and more. Like the Buddha, one should be bold. See what a mighty renunciation he had. To realize God, he gave up all his royal comforts without a thought. What a severe course of discipline he underwent. Then when, in spite of everything, he could not realize God, he took his bath in the sacred Niranjana, a rivulet at Buddhagaya, and sat down with thus resolve, let this body go, but until I have attained illumination I will not rise, and the illumination came. Maharaj, God is the wish-granting tree. Whatever a man asks of him, he grants, but such is the play of Maya. Man does not want to find the blissful ocean of God. Instead, he drowns himself in the quagmire of worldliness and thinks he is happy. Then, as he meets with the sufferings of the world, he feels that his life has been lived in vain. You are sitting under this wish-granting tree. Ask to become divine and you will become divine. Ask to become a brute and a brute you will become. In the domain of Maya there is both Vidya, that which leads a man to God, and Avidya, that which leads a man away from God. Vidya is spiritual discrimination and renunciation. By taking refuge in Vidya, you take refuge in God, while Avidya, which consists of lust, anger, greed, egotism, attachment and envy, drags a man down to the level of a brute. If you cultivate discrimination and renunciation, avidya will be destroyed. If you yield to avidya, God remains far away and suffering will be your lot. There are both vidya and avidya. Man has the power to choose the one or the other, and on the nature of his choice will depend his success or failure in life, and he will reap the fruits of his choosing. Why blame God for your sufferings? Man falls in love with pleasures of the moment, never stopping to discriminate, and the suffering which follows is of his own making. Put your hand into the fire and it will get burned. Is that the fault of the fire? Sri Ramakrishna used to say, the lamp gives light to all. By its light one may read the scriptures and another may forge a check. Is that the fault of the lamp? My master used to say, there is a peculiar breeze called the Malaya breeze. When the breeze blows, it touches all trees. By its touch, some trees having a certain substance in them are transformed into sandal trees, while the others lacking that substance remain the same. So also there are two classes of men. As soon as those of the one class come into the presence of holy men and hear their teachings, they are awakened, they realize the evanescence of the world and become eager to find God and to solve the mysteries of life and death. They at once devote themselves to the practice of spiritual disciplines. Such men are sure to reach enlightenment. Then there is the other class. Even though you may hold high spiritual ideals before them, they do not respond. They think they will live forever and that the world cannot get along without them. They also imagine it is sheer foolishness to give up the pleasures of the world for the sake of the unknown. Thus they remain sunken in darkness. There is the path of the good and the path of the pleasant. One leads to everlasting peace and the other leads to suffering. Choose therefore the path of the good. Time waits for no man. Choose now. Waste not another moment. Try to mold your mind in such a way that it will not think of anything but God. Pray earnestly to Him with all your heart and soul. O Lord, give me understanding, free me from all sense of ego. Teach me to submit to your will, make me your own. Yearn for Him, since you have taken refuge in Sri Ramakrishna. Be certain that you have His grace. Unfortunate indeed is he who, having His grace, fails to recognize it. Do not miss the supreme joy, solve the mysteries of life and death, and become the eternal companion of the Lord. Sri Ramakrishna is the avatar of this age, and he is helping every sincere and earnest aspirant. He is wanting for you, he is waiting for you. Making a little effort, spread the sails of devotion, and the spiritual breeze that is forever blowing will carry you to your goal. Look not back, go forward, make your life blessed by the vision of the Lord. Teaching number 31. Maharaj, everyone is seeking happiness. No one wants misery, yet the deluded man ignores God, the source of all happiness, and runs after the worthless toys of life. If you really want happiness, throw away these toys and yearn for God. He will run to you and take you in His arms. Seek the toys of life and you will find them. Seek God and you will find them. Eat the mangoes, do not count the leaves. The sole purpose of life is to reach God. Reach Him first, pray to Him unceasingly. Wake up, plunge into the ocean of nectar, solve the mystery of life and death, and become immortal. God has many names and many forms. He is also without form. It makes no difference by what name or in what form you worship Him, but worship Him. Lose yourself in contemplation of Him. If you are sincere in your worship of Him, you will be blessed with His vision. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, sweet bread will taste sweet whatever way you eat it. Have faith and dive deep into the fathomless ocean, and you are sure to find the eternal treasure, the pearl beyond price. Do not lose heart if after a little struggle you fail to find it. The ocean is full of precious pearls, but you may not find them at the first dive. Try patiently to dive deep into meditation. In due course you are certain to receive God's grace. If you wish to meet an important man, you must seek him through his ministers. Similarly, to obtain the Lord's grace, you must seek the help of godly man and undergo many spiritual disciplines. Know that He is dearer than the dearest, and then pray to Him with a yearning heart for His grace and vision. Cry to Him like a child. He cannot resist your tears. Make the mind one-pointed like the mariner's compass. Mariner's compass. In whatever direction the ship may sail, the compass always points to the north, and keep the ship on its course. Keep your mind pointed towards God and your boat will sail smoothly. A man who does this never loses his faith and devotion, even if he is thrown into an evil environment. The moment such a man hears of God, he becomes intoxicated with joy. A piece of flint may be underwater for 1,000 years, but it will still emit sparks if it is taken out and struck. Like a fallen leaf tossed to and fro by the wind, the one-pointed man is content to remain wherever the Lord places him. He has no will or desire of his own. He can live in the world and at the same time dive into the ocean of knowledge and bliss. A pure mind is like a dry matchstick. It ignites the moment you strike it, but try as you will, you cannot light a match that is wet. Similarly, if the mind becomes soiled by worldliness, you will find it extremely difficult to restore it to its former purity. 32. Disciple. Maharaj, in spite of all my efforts, my mind is still restless. How can I curb it? Maharaj replies, practice japam and meditation regularly. Do not miss even one day. The mind is like a spoiled child, always restless. Try repeatedly to steady it by fixing it on the chosen ideal, and at last you will become absorbed in him. If you continue your practice for 2 or 3 years, you will begin to feel an unspeakable joy and the mind will become steady. In the beginning, the practice of japam and meditation seems dry. It is like taking bitter medicine. You must forcefully pour the thought of God into your mind. Then as you persist, you will be flooded with joy. What a tremendous ordeal a student goes through in order to pass his examination. To realize God is a far easier task. Call on Him sincerely with a tranquil heart. Disciple. That is very encouraging, Maharaj, but at the times I feel that in spite of all my efforts, I am making no progress. It all seems so unreal. Despair takes hold of me. Maharaj, no, there is no cause for despair. The effect of meditation is inevitable. You are bound to get results if you practice japam with devotion or even without it, for devotion will follow. Continue your practice regularly for a little longer. You will find peace. One's health also improves if one meditates. Meditation in the primary stage is like waging a war with the mind. With effort, the restless mind has to be brought under control and placed at the feet of the Lord. But in the beginning, take care that you do not overtax your brain. Go slowly, then gradually intensify your effort. Through regular practice, the mind will become steady and meditation will be easier. You will no longer feel any strain even while sitting for long hours in contemplation. Just as after deep sleep a man feels refreshed in body and mind, so will you feel refreshed after meditation, and there will follow an intense experience of happiness. The body and mind are closely related. When the body is disturbed, the mind also becomes disturbed. Therefore, particular care must be given to the diet in order to keep the body healthy. Under no circumstances should an aspirant fill more than one half of his stomach with food. Meditation is not such an easy matter. When you have eaten too much, the mind becomes restless. Also, unless you keep lust, anger, greed, and such other passions under control, the mind will remain unsteady. How can you meditate with an unsteady mind? You must practice severe austerities, but by this I do not mean physical austerities or the torture of the body. Real austerity consists in the control of the passions. Passion must never be allowed to raise its head. But remember, religion is not for the eunuch, nor for the one who maims his body. Unless you meditate, you cannot control the mind, and unless the mind is controlled, you cannot meditate. But if you think, first let me control the mind and then I shall meditate, you will never succeed. You must steady your mind and meditate at the same time. As you sit down to meditate, think of the cravings of the mind as mere dreams, see them as unreal, they can never attach themselves to the mind, feel that you are pure. In this way, purity will gradually fill your mind. As you continue in your meditation, you may experience a divine light, or you may hear the ringing of a bell or the sound of Om. Many such spiritual experiences may come, but pay no attention to them. They are of little value except to indicate that you are on the right path. If you wish to realize God, practice the spiritual disciplines with patience and perseverance. In due course, you will be enlightened. When the time comes, the Lord will reveal His grace to you. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, until the time is ripe, the mother bird does not break open the egg. Do not be impatient. Impatience avails nothing. Work and wait. This period of waiting is no doubt very wearisome. One moment you feel hope, then again despair. Joy is followed by sorrow, so the struggle continues for some time until God at long last is revealed. Disciple Maharaj, how does devotion to God grows? Maharaj, keep the company of the holy, listen to their teachings and mold your life after their pattern. But without continence and the practice of meditation, you cannot grasp the spirit of the enlightened ones, nor can you understand the scriptures. Read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and meditate on its teachings. The more you meditate on God, the better will be your understanding of holy books. To hear about knowledge of God is one thing, to live in God is another, but the knowledge acquired through realization is different from both. If you have the craving for fleshly enjoyments or the slightest desire for name and fame, you cannot reach God. As Nag Mahasaya used to say, it is like trying to row an anchored boat. He also used to say, it is easy to get name and fame, but holy is he who can renounce them. Blessed is he who finds association with an enlightened soul. Vain is the life of one does not struggle to realize God. Disciple Maharaj, there are some who believe that merely keeping company with the holy is enough. One need not do anything more. Maharaj, no, not merely to keep the company of the holy is not enough. You must open your heart and ask them to solve your doubts. You must carefully observe their lives and imitate their example. It is a lazy man's attitude to think that all one need to do is to associate with the holy. Needless to say, association is also very important. For in their company doubts are removed and pure thoughts are awakened. No scripture or books can create such pure impressions or transform a man's life as much as contact with an enlightened soul disciple. Maharaj Sri Ramakrishna has said that solitude is an aid to spiritual growth. Maharaj replies, yes, that is true, but you should retire into solitude only when you have attained some growth in the spiritual life. To retire from human society before one is ready is unwise. In this world of time, space, and causation, it is impossible to find true solitude. True solitude lies beyond the mind and intellect. It is identical with the most tranquil. Therefore, it is better for a beginner to live in the company of a holy man. Disciple, the other day you said that impatience was of no avail, that we should be content to work and wait. Does that mean that we must not yearn to realize God immediately, Maharaj? I must have said that in another connection. Yes, you must yearn to realize Him, but do not be carried away by temporary emotions nor give expressions to them. To intensify your spiritual emotions, you must hold them within. If you give vent to them, they will exhaust themselves, then dryness may follow. The man of true devotion yearns for God without becoming impatient. Even if he sees no light, he will not give up his devotion. Only those who love God, like shopkeepers looking for profit, will give up if their prayers are not answered immediately. So dear friends, I stop this video here. Thank you for listening and watching this video with patience and devotion. Namaskar, my dear friend. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.